Hey there, and thank you for joining me for another episode of YQG in Bloom. My name is Tracy Martins, and today I am here with Mara Derricks from The Joyful Hostess. Hi, Mara. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Oh, thanks for having me, Tracy.
I'm so excited. You know, what really drew me to your business is that you're going almost old school.
Yep.
Bringing party planning back again. I mean, growing up, us, our grandparents, it was like an art form. You had your parties and you had everything. Your T's were crossed, your I's were dotted. It was all fancy. And then I don't know where, we just kind of got out of it, and you're bringing it back.
Yeah, I'm hoping to bring it back.
Tell me, where did this come from?
So I grew up in a family that hosted a lot. So we had a big Italian family. So that meant lots of reasons for us to get together and also lots of food, right? So
Every weekend.
every weekend. And so I just kind of grew up with it. Mm-hmm. And when I started having a family myself, I wanted to continue with that, but I wanted to make it slightly different than how we were taught because, like you said, I's dotted, T's crossed, the whole house had to be clean. You were using your fine china. Like it was an occasion to have people over. Yeah. And I just wanted to embrace the connection piece of it, but not worry so much about it being perfect.
Well, it was stressful.
Yeah, it was stressful. It really was.
Oh my God. Like, okay, we're going to have a party. So a week of cleaning the house.
Right.
And I was going through all your stuff, and I follow you on Instagram, and it's like, okay, you don't need to clean the whole house. You don't need to clean under the beds.
That's right. That's right.
I love that you're making fancy parties and planning parties easier.
Yep. And approachable. Like anybody can do it. Mm-hmm. Anybody can do it.
And it's not horribly overpriced either.
No. Your guests don't really care that you spent top dollar on the food because I don't know about you, but I know I've had lots of great evenings with friends that were just like pizza and chips and that's it.
Those
right?
are usually the best ones where you can just relax and enjoy the party, and at least learning from you, they can enjoy it again.
Yep.
Which is really nice. Now, how long have you done this?
So, I mean, I've been hosting my whole life, but Joyful Hostess, as a business, it's really only been about a year and a half, maybe 2 years, where I started to take Joyful Hostess to be something that's full-time.
I follow you on Instagram, and you have to watch her because you have some of the greatest reels. Are awesome. The tips, the hints. And then last night I found your YouTube, and that was a big mistake because I was on there for at least a couple hours just watching all the reels and watching, I mean, jalapeno margarita.
Right?
Oh my God.
Right?
I never would have thought of that.
Yeah. I'm just
that.
having a lot of fun with, and I love that, like even what we're doing here today, right? It's very visual as well as like auditory. And I think it's great when you can share your gift with people in so many different ways. So technology has kind of been awesome to let us do that. Yes. And so people can see firsthand like how I make my recipes or how I set up for a party or the behind the scenes stuff, like even the messy, not perfect stuff. So that people can kind of feel like I'm you, like I get it. I get it. It's not always perfect.
Well, where do you get your recipes? Like, are those homemade, or do you look them up on Pinterest like the rest of us? Or
oh God, it's a mix. So some of them are, I share some of my like family recipes that have been like passed down. The handwritten. Oh, remember the index cards, the recipe cards?
Still.
Yeah. So some of them are like that, and some of them, of course, Pinterest. Yeah. Like Pinterest is fantastic for trying new recipes. And then, you might tweak them a bit, or because I like things spicier, so I might add like more spice to something, or
I'm just starting to get into spices. They're still a little much for me. I don't know if I would be able to do the jalapeno pineapple margarita, but I could definitely do a pineapple margarita.
Yeah. Next time we'll try that.
We should. Summertime.
Yeah.
Have a party.
Yeah.
You also host workshops. I've been catching them online at Anna's, at Auntie Aldo's. You're kind of all over the place. What are your workshops focusing on?
So my workshops really are all about teaching you a couple of tips or tricks that will help make hosting easy. So for instance, the one at Auntie Aldo's was showing you how to turn your regular old cupcakes into spring flowers, like with icing, which
those were so cute.
yeah, I used to have a cake decorating business. So these are all like little tips that I learned like way back. And I feel like if I can share that and show people one or two things just to make it easy and make it feel like it's more elevated, but you didn't really spend a whole lot of time on it.
They looked like they would be way too hard to do.
No, they're actually easy.
Yeah?
Yeah. And so the other workshops, you know, are like I've got the brunch board one, which, you know, I'm going to do that one again because that one
I know I'm
sold out so fast.
Honestly, just put me down. As soon as you find out when it is, just message me and put me in there because that one looks really, really exciting. And I have no idea what,
yeah. So there's
how to do
bunch.
it.
There's a whole bunch. So we've got the brunch workshops. We've got a garden tea party. So I'm showing you how easy to put together like a garden tea party with a really simple 3-course meal. And then also I host private workshops too. So some people like whether it's for, you know, corporate, like for their team members want to do a private workshop. I even have a bridal party that wants to do it as part of their bachelorette kind of thing. So they're doing like a brunch and cocktails. It's going to be fun.
That does sound like a lot of fun. And I never would have thought of that for a bachelorette party.
I think the difference, this is what I'm seeing like from probably years ago to now. I think people are just hungry for different experiences. And they're looking for ways that they can connect with the people that they love, maybe, and try something new. So workshops are a great way to do that.
We used to throw these really nice parties, dinner parties, get-togethers, and then we seemed to go to simplicity. And I think we went too much into simplicity where people became very lax and are craving kind of meshing two of them together. You can have a really nice party, but it doesn't have to be, you know, all the way out there, tux, suit coat. You can still have a fancy party with jeans and a nice shirt.
Yeah. Or without those Pinterest elaborate tablescapes, as gorgeous as they are, right?
That I'm sorry, nobody actually does that. That is just for Pinterest.
Not really. And you know what? When I look at those, the first thing I think about is how annoying is that to sit at the table? You're not gonna be able to see the people on the other side. Like that's my first thought. I'm like, I would never do that on my table. As nice as it looks in the picture, just from a practical standpoint, can you imagine spending the whole night like bouncing around
and doing the Julia Roberts, how many tines are on this fork? You know, like what are we gonna do? I do have to bring this up. And I told you a moment ago about it. I found it on her Instagram. Reminders for people that are having their parties. As a hostess, you have permission to, let me get it here. You have permission to invite whoever you want or not invite whoever you want, which is always a huge thing with parties. Like, oh, I got to invite this person. I have to invite that person. And
you actually don't. You actually don't.
I've
invite
always
whoever you want.
And don't feel guilty because, you know, you tend to have different sets of friends.
Exactly.
And we have used store-bought or ready-made items. It all doesn't have to be made from scratch in order to be good, which usually people think it's a dinner party. It has to be made or catered.
Yes.
So
buying ready-made will save you not only time, but sometimes it will save you money. Like we were talking about the charcuterie boards. There's like lots of companies who will do the charcuterie boards for you. And it actually saves you money in doing it that way because then you're not buying a whole bunch of ingredients that you don't need. They'll just prepare it for you and then you have it ready to go.
As I was telling my husband for our upcoming open house at Clear Rock Studios, instead of getting the charcuterie board or trying to make it, I ordered these big party boxes from a local charcuterie company. And you at first look at it and go, oh, that's a little pricey. And then you look at what comes in it and it's like, you go to the grocery store and I'm sorry, that brick of cheese there is $20.
Exactly.
That meat there, or even grapes, $10.99 for a bunch of grapes. Like, come on. It's ridiculous. So sometimes, it is cheaper to have somebody else do it. But I'm going to get on to the next one is ask for help.
Yep.
And that's the one thing is somebody thinks I have to do it all.
100%. And I know I'm guilty of that too.
Me too.
You know, and I hate to say it, like us ladies sometimes have a hard time asking for help, right? We take it all on and like, nope, it's fine. I got it. I can do it. So I say all the time, if you can ask for help, or this may happen, right? Where you'll have a guest say, can I bring something? No, it's fine. I've got it.
Don't want to be a bother.
Yeah, you don't want to be a bother. But if somebody's asking you, they genuinely want to help. So I don't think there's anything wrong with saying, you know what, if you guys could bring a dessert, that would be great. And then it's one less thing off your plate. And the flip side of that is that your guest gets to feel good about contributing.
And you can make a fuss over them. And hey, look at what this person brought.
Yeah, so don't be afraid to ask. Don't be afraid to ask for help.
For sure. And then this is a really good one. Take time for yourself. When you feel good, you'll be more relaxed and your guests will feel good too. And that's my thing is like Christmas. I just know how I want things done. And everybody asks, can I help you? No, I'm good. I'm good. Just stay out of my way. But then I spend the whole time in the kitchen.
Yep.
And everybody else is out in the living room and I'm kind of listening in and it's hard.
It's hard
to let go or to take time for yourself to actually enjoy it. And I think that's what brings it to the last one is have fun at your own party, which I never do. Ever
You should
do.
be having fun. That's like the first rule. I say it all the time. The hostess should be having just as much fun as their guests. You really should be. You've put in all the effort. You've put in the hard work. You've invited the people. You've done the shopping. You've done the cooking. Like you should be having fun too. It's okay for you to have fun. And just going back to the self-care piece. So one of the tricks that I use is when I'm creating my to-do list, you know, that to-do list, like the day of that you got to do all these things.
And it has to be on paper, not on the phone, not on the computer. It's got to be on pad and paper so you can mark that off as you do it.
Right. So on that piece of paper, I make sure to put something that is self-care for me. So I don't care if that's I'm going to do a face mask or I'm going to read for 20 minutes or I'm going to like take the time to like pick out what I'm going to wear. Like just putting that on the to-do list because you're just as important as making sure the floors are clean and that, you know, that the ice is made and all that. So it will be a game changer when you add that to the list. You really can then feel relaxed so that when the doorbell rings, you're like, you're ready.
Yeah.
You're ready.
I was looking at your website and you offer the Joyful Hostess Academy. What is that all about?
Yeah, thanks for asking. I'm super excited about that. That is a program that we're launching this spring. And it's going to be basically everything you need to know about hosting so that you can feel good about it and feel more confident in your hosting skills. So I'm sharing with you my party planning formula, like what I use, all the behind the scenes, how to get stuff done in the right order, tips, tricks, like it's chock full of my years and years of hosting so that when somebody goes through that program, they actually can feel good about having people over and not stressed.
I like that because it's all in one spot because I mean, I have found you on Instagram, which I love. And like I said, I was all over your YouTube last night. And then there's Pinterest as well. So it's perfect that you're condensing it all and giving it to them. And you have some really nice planner.
Yeah. So for those of us that are paper people, I've got this party planner keepsake and you know where this came from? Okay, so this came from when my kids were little. I had a notebook that I would keep track of when I was planning their birthday parties. Okay, so it would have in there like who came, how many people, what were like the party favors, who did I order the cakes from, or that kind of stuff, right? And the reason why I was doing that was because my kids were a year apart. So you know what you have to do for one. You have to do for the other. So that book was kind of, I could look back and say, okay, it was their 10th birthday. How many guests did I say they could have? And what did we do? And then it became a really nice keepsake for me to go back and take a look at and say like, oh, remember when he was into dinosaurs? And remember when she was into mermaids? Yes. So this party planner keepsake walks through step by step all the details of planning a party, everything from your brainstorming to who's invited so you can keep track of the guest list, your food menu, drink menu, your activities and games. It's got a to-do list broken down by 2 months before, a week before, like what you should be doing, the budget. And then it's even got a shopping list that you can like tear out as well and take that with you. So everything's all in one spot. Plus the keepsake part is that little section where you can put in special memories and what happened, right? Because, you know, sometimes funny stuff happens or somebody says something witty. This is a really nice thing to go back to and take a look at. Just the parties that you've hosted and the people who were there. I just think that's such a special time.
It is nice. Yeah. It's always nice to have a reminder. Now, you did say party games. What do you think is a really good party game? Just a generic.
Oh boy. There's a couple of good games, and I'm not prepared for the name of it. I can send it to you after. But there's, they're like party cards that go on the table and asks really good questions. So there's
so many of those now.
So sometimes I forget the name of it now, but we were at a dinner party where not everybody knew everyone. So that was a really great way to like pull a card. And I think one of the questions that got everybody talking, which I use now all the time, the question was, what's the most memorable meal you've ever had? And then the whole table was like talking and engaged. There was no like awkwardness and you got to know a little bit about people. So I love those kind of games where you can just like a conversation. I think it's called conversation starters. I think is what it was called. I'm a fan of that. I like that.
I do too. I really enjoy those. Tell me a little secret or what's your favorite or what do you hate? And it's a good, like you said, a way to get to know each other, which is always fun. What do you feel is a good recipe, and not food recipe, I'll get to that in a moment, but a good recipe for a party? Like if somebody is just like, I don't even know what to do, where to start.
I think the first thing is to think about have the end in mind. So what do you want to accomplish with this gathering? So is it because you're celebrating something special? Are you wanting to do like a housewarming? Is it to introduce people to other people? Is it to introduce yourself to other people? So think about kind of what the goal is, and then work backwards. And I always tell people, so once you've thought about what the goal is, what you want to accomplish, next step would probably be to think about a theme. And the theme doesn't have to be something elaborate. It really doesn't. It doesn't have to be like a big Hawaiian luau or something, but even just as simple as a color scheme, or maybe you want it to be, I don't know, seasonal. Yeah. You can do something like that. Those are two really good starting points, because then from that, you're going to be able to drive your guest list. You're going to be able to drive your menu. You're going to be able to think about the decorations that you want to have. So those two pieces will really help the rest of the pieces kind of fall in place.
That's a great idea. You never think of going to the end first. Yeah. And what is your favorite party food?
My favorite party food? I'm a sucker for like cheese and charcuterie. Sure. Like, you know, and I think the last time we were together, we chatted about how, you know, us Italians have been doing charcuterie for like forever. So this is not a new thing. So we always had like cheese and bread and salami and stuff like that out. And that's still my favorite. Like I could do that even just for dinner.
Okay. And apparently I've been saying this wrong all the time. Charcuterie.
Charcuterie. Yeah.
Was it always called that for Italians? Because I know that it's huge. Or was it meat and cheese platter?
It was just meat and cheese platter.
Okay, thank you. I've always said that. I don't know where a charcuterie came from, but I don't know. I am a huge fan of it. Yeah. And the type that I will sit at the grazing table or any appetizers. Yeah. Keep them away from me. Because I'll just sit there and eat.
Yeah.
Now, if somebody is new to having a party, after the appetizers and the charcuterie board, what would be a good, easy, say, main course?
Ooh, pasta, I feel like you can't go wrong.
Yeah.
Lasagna. And I know.
I was thinking of lasagna.
The Italians like coming out on me, but pasta's pretty easy. It's hard to get that wrong. But I will say, if you're like, let's say you're not really skilled at cooking, and it kind of stresses you out, you don't have to actually cook. You don't have to cook. You can outsource that. Like there's lots of places where you can go to your favorite restaurant, order a bunch of stuff, put it on lovely platters, and then instead you can focus your energy on doing really great appetizers, really great cocktails, and like a dessert.
When we got married, and it was, we're talking many years ago, but it was a small party afterwards. Actually, it was the next day, but just Jeff's. We ordered from them, and Oh my goodness, it was phenomenal. We had the appetizers, we had main courses, we had everything, and it was reasonably priced, and it was just really nice to have good food, and they are really good. People still talk about their foods.
Yeah. Yeah, we've done that too, where we've even gone to the Kubota Club, Chijaro Club.
You know what? I never think of them.
You can order, like we did. It came with the chicken and potatoes and green beans, and all I had to do was do a salad, and then the appetizer and dessert, and it was the best.
And I never ever think about why wouldn't they do that?
Yeah, make it easy. Make it easy.
Exactly. And if all of this is still too hard, you will do it for them.
Yeah.
So you also party plan.
Party plan. Yeah, party plan. So I've got a few on the go already. So it's just people who are just like, you know what, I'd rather have somebody else do it. I'm more than happy to do it. That's my jam. That's my jam. I can do it.
Now, what all do you do?
So it depends, right? Some people want the whole thing. They want, they don't want to worry about it. They just want to get themselves ready and show
Everything
up.
except for cleaning.
Except for cleaning. Yeah. And some people just need some ideas, right? They just want the starter. They want somebody to help kind of source the stuff for them, and then they want to handle it from there. So it really depends. I just work with people with where they're at.
That's great.
Yeah. I say, like, our motto at Joyful Hostess is less perfection and more connection.
I like that.
Yeah. That's what it's about.
But it still looks like perfection. That's the trick to it. Looking at your pictures, and they're not Pinterest perfect, but they're pretty damn close. They are pretty darn close.
That is high praise. Thank you.
It's true. It looks so easy. Seriously, find her on YouTube. It's just Joyful Hostess. Yeah. Joyful Hostess Mara. And where else can we find you?
So YouTube, Instagram seem to be like the two places where I hang out, and Pinterest. And then of course, the website. I do have a Facebook page, but I'm just like, full disclosure, I'm not really on Facebook that often. So I'm on there sporadically. So you're better off finding me in those other social media outlets.
And definitely look her up, watch the videos, whether you're having a party or just for fun, because there's a lot to learn. And I really appreciate you being with us today, Mara.
Oh, thank you, Tracy. I had a great time.
And my name is Tracy Martins. Thank you so much for joining us for another episode of YQG in Bloom. Have a great day.